Welcome to Asian ID. The moment the studio doors burst open at exactly 3 in the afternoon, who could have predicted that a simple visit would ignite a storm powerful enough to shake the entire short drama world under the blinding white lights of the filming set? Cameras were still rolling, scripts were still trembling in the actors' hands, and every staff member was trapped inside the carefully manufactured illusion of romance. Yet wasn't reality already preparing to steal the scene completely at that moment? Wang Haozhen strode forward without hesitation, without caution, and without the slightest intention of hiding his emotions. So how could a crowd remain calm when someone walked into a battlefield carrying nothing but fearless sincerity? Across from him stood Guo Yuxin, who had been filming a contractual romance scene with Chen Xiangxiang, and although the scripted atmosphere between the two actors looked distant yet polite, wasn't it obvious that fiction suddenly became fragile the instant real emotions entered the room before anyone could react? Wang Haozhen wrapped Guo Yuxin tightly into his arms, and the entire set exploded into gasps, whispers, and stunned silence. But wasn't the most shocking part not the embrace itself, but the confidence hidden inside that embrace? He leaned naturally against her shoulder as though the world around them had disappeared, and there was no awkwardness, no calculated performance, and no attempt to create artificial sweetness for publicity. So didn't his honesty feel more overwhelming than any carefully rehearsed love scene ever could? The cameras continued recording the scripted romance. Yet everyone present instinctively understood that the true story was no longer inside the script. So when reality becomes more emotionally charged than fiction, which one do audiences truly believe in today's entertainment industry? Audiences have become experts at detecting performances disguised as affection, because how many celebrity interactions are built on rehearsed smiles, strategic eye contact, and relationships designed more for algorithms than for genuine emotion? People have watched countless pairs avoid standing too close, hesitate before touching each other, and carefully calculate every public interaction as though sincerity itself had become dangerous. But when did honesty become rarer than acting in a world built entirely around performance? That is precisely why this moment struck people so deeply, because Wang Haozhen did not arrive carrying caution, strategy, or public relations planning, but instead walked into the spotlight carrying visible affection without fear. And isn't fearlessness the one thing audiences secretly crave the most? I remember standing beside someone in the crowd while the chaos unfolded around us like a storm swallowing the room whole, and when I whispered, "Look at this scene," wasn't I really asking whether anyone else could feel the electric tension surging through the air? The person beside me stared at the embrace for several seconds before quietly replying, "Yeah, this is intense." But wasn't that simple response enough to reveal how deeply the moment had already pierced through everyone's emotional defenses? There are moments that feel staged for attention, and then there are moments so natural that they almost become dangerous because they reveal emotions people usually try to hide. So wasn't this sudden embrace powerful precisely because it lacked calculation? Even the fluorescent lights above the set suddenly seemed colder against the warmth of that unapologetic closeness. And while staff members exchanged nervous glances, wasn't it obvious that something far bigger than entertainment gossip had just unfolded before their eyes? Perhaps what moved people most was not romance itself, but the unmistakable feeling of certainty radiating from Wang Haozhen's actions. Because in a world where people constantly retreat from commitment, how often does anyone publicly choose someone with such confidence anymore? The scripted sweetness inside dramas may deliver temporary excitement, but industrialized romance eventually fades like sugar dissolving into empty water. So how could fabricated chemistry ever compete with one genuine moment overflowing with emotion? Viewers today are exhausted by perfection because perfection often feels lifeless, while flawed sincerity still carries heat, heartbeat, and vulnerability. So isn't imperfection sometimes the strongest proof that something is real? As clips from the incident spread wildly across social media, countless viewers replayed the embrace repeatedly as though searching for hidden truths buried inside a few fleeting seconds. But were they truly searching for celebrity gossip? Or were they searching for evidence that authentic connection still exists somewhere in this carefully filtered world? Maybe people did not become emotional because two actors hugged on set, but because the moment awakened a forgotten longing hidden inside ordinary hearts. Because who does not secretly wish for someone willing to cross a crowded room without hesitation just to stand beside them publicly? Perhaps that is why the scene became unforgettable, because beneath the noise, speculation, and online frenzy, it reflected a painfully simple desire humans never truly outgrow. And isn't that desire merely to be chosen openly, confidently, and without fear? Long after the cameras stopped rolling and the set returned to silence, the image of that embrace continued lingering in people's minds like a spark refusing to die in the darkness. But wasn't the most haunting question of all whether we still possess the courage to love as honestly as that moment demanded? Thank you for watching the video. See you again.